Hello everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to be reviewing chapter 1029 of One Piece, just released a couple hours ago as I'm recording this, but as you'll see this, it might be Saturday or it might be Friday. It depends on how fast I edit this and how fast it gets rendered. But this chapter was amazing. I loved it. This might be one of my favorite chapters like in Wano. Like out of the entire Wano arc, this might be like up there. Alright, if I ever do like rank the like chapters in One Piece, which I don't think I will, because like I'm not keeping track of which chapter is like what, but this chapter, out of the past couple ones, it was amazing. And I'm gonna be honest, Killer is one of the supernovas that I did not care for at all. Like, I didn't hate him, I didn't even dislike him. It's just like he was kind of there. He never really did anything for me. But this chapter changed that. Like, Killer is now one of my favorite supernovas. He was amazing in this chapter. Look, first, look, so there's pretty much three different plot points that are followed in this chapter. Two of which are connected. So I'm going to go over the one that's not. It's kind of separate. It's actually continuing from last chapter, which is Sanji. And even though to me this isn't the highlight of the chapter, I still really liked Sanji, what he's going through. And I feel like the way the power-up, the way his power-up from last chapter is affecting him isn't what Sanji fans would want, but in my opinion is great for his character. Like, he has this internal conflict in him that you can see in the chapter. And even though, like I said, this wasn't a highlight for me, but still my favorite panel specifically from this chapter is definitely the one with Sanji looking all sad and like all his brothers' faces around him. Like, to me that was phenomenal, because you can see Sanji looking absolutely heartbroken because he really truly does not want to be like his brothers. And I even said this in, I think, the last chapter review, that this internal conflict is going to happen to Sanji. And people might get mad at him for like running away from the fight or whatever, or like worrying about his emotions while he's in the middle of a fight. But like, you have to understand what he's going through. Like, this is huge for him. And I think the vulnerability that he's kind of shown here is, I don't think that ruins his character, but improves it. Like, I think this is something that you couldn't see from another character like Zoro. Like, I don't think I could see Zoro doing anything like this. And yeah, it's just, I really am excited to see where Sanji goes. And there is kind of like the question of, will Sanji's emotions get taken away? Because in Queen's list of things that like, oh, I heard Judge was working on, you know, like enhanced durability, all this, and like ice cold heart or something like that. And to me that makes it seem like the genetic modifications is what made Niji's, Ichiji, Reiji, I don't remember, but Ichiji, Niji, Yonji, them so heartless, not really them being like wealthy or powerful. So does that mean that Sanji's gonna get his emotions taken away? I don't think so. There might be a moment where like Sanji's like on the verge of like becoming heartless, and maybe he even is for a scene or for like a moment. But I honestly don't think, in the grand scheme of things, any of his emotions are gonna get taken away. Which, like, obviously it's not, but still. I am excited to see where that goes. But another cool fact about Sanji thing is, like, I really like where he's just, like, running away, and then all the Beast Pirates are, like, shooting at him, like, oh my god, it's one of the Straw Hats, this is our chance to take him down. But then he's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, come on. It's like he's just, like, all these bullets shooting at him, and he's like, oh, that hurt, you know? It's like, what? And we did see that in the last chapter too with Queen's sword, but I found it pretty funny, even though the effect, I think what Oda was intending, doesn't hit as hard, since in One Piece, bullets aren't really, you know, a main weapon. Like, sure, there have been some characters that died from bullets, like Nojiko, no, not Nojiko, Bellemere, sorry, Odin, obviously, but those were like, they were all either weak characters or characters who would have like died otherwise. So like bullets haven't really been like anything, you know, and maybe it's just because in other shonen anime bullets are like completely obsolete. So like them not hurting a stronger character, it isn't really all that surprising. But Yeah, I still liked it. But of course, the other two plot points are Law and Kid versus Big Mom, and then Killer versus Hawkins. And I loved this, like the way they were all connected. You know, obviously Hawkins has the straw hat, the straw doll of Kid that's like connected to Kid or whatever, and like that whenever Killer attacks Hawkins, it attacks Kid. And I was really curious as to how Killer would have been done. Like there are, to me in my head, the only possibilities were he does nothing and Hawkins is able to take him down, or he attacks him and just like accepts killing Kid. And to me, to me, since Killer is like Kid's first mate, I thought the only thing would happen would be him just not attacking. But the way they did it, it didn't feel like a Deus Ex Machina or anything. It did make a lot of sense, and it was like so cool how we see Kid getting absolutely destroyed by Big Mom, and Law's like, "Come on, bro, what are we doing?" And also seeing Law fight was cool. There's a plane flying. It's really loud. I hope maybe it didn't get picked up. But seeing Law fight is like always a pleasure, because like anything involving Law's abilities is just amazing to see. So you get to see some shambles action, some counter shock, which is one of my favorite moves. Just like personally, I love counter shock. But then we also get to see Law blasted by Prometheus. So like they truly are outmatched. And even though at the end of the chapter Kid is like, he stops getting damaged by Hawkins, but like he still has suffered all these injuries. I don't know how they'll be able to beat Big Mom. I don't think they are. Big Mom might actually just survive the raid. Kaido might die and she's like, oh, well, I mean, I guess there's no point in staying here. And then she like goes like Elbaf or something. But yeah, I don't see Big Mom getting taken down by these two anytime soon. Also, another panel that I really do like is Big Mom's Marmalade, like a pun on marmalade, against Kid. Like that just looks brutal, that panel. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to show any of the panels due to copyright. I'm just going with that one, like, you know, static screen. It's also easier to edit, so I'm able to get these videos out. Look, I'm trying to get them out the day the chapter is released, so like every Friday or whatever. And yeah, so that fight, it's probably gonna end in Big Mom's victory, although I think Law and Kid are gonna die. Not at all. But let's get to Kid versus Hawkins. So we see Hawkins like purposely injuring himself so that Kid will die, and like Killer can just sit there. He can't do anything. He can't like hurt Hawkins to stop him from hurting himself. Like, that doesn't make sense. And Hawkins actually offers Killer the opportunity to work for Kaido. And in the current scenario, that might be the smarter decision for Killer. But I honestly think while like Hawkins just kind of like beating him out, just monologuing, he's just trying to think of a way to beat Hawkins, and it works, dude. This has to be one of my favorite like ways to outsmart an opponent, because what he does is he cuts Hawkins' arm off, his left arm, because Kid doesn't have a left arm, which is just absolutely insane. And I love it just because of how brutal it is. Like, Killer and Kid are very morally ambiguous characters, but throughout Wano, that doesn't really come across as much. Because like obviously in like Sabati, I can't remember her name, like the girl, Rayleigh's wife, I think, Shaki. She was talking about how Kid has a higher mind than Luffy because he isn't afraid of like hurting like civilians or whatever. And like they're supposed to be evil, like, or maybe not even evil, just like morally like wrong. And that hasn't really been shown, because throughout Wano, Kid has been very similar to Luffy, except Kid just like doesn't really care as much about like the raid and stuff. But like Killer too, like they haven't really come across as evil, but I don't know, Killer just like absolutely chopping off Hawkins' arm is just amazing to see. And I feel like, especially in One Piece, we don't really see stuff like that. Like, there are so many swordsmen in the anime, in manga, but for how many there are, we rarely ever get to see someone actually cut someone's limbs off, which is like, you know, I feel like swordsmanship at its peak is doing that, you know. So it's just the only time I can remember. It's like, obviously Kid has his arm off, and Shanks too, but like both of those were off screen, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, but God. But just seeing someone, I'm so excited to see it in the anime. I can't wait to see how they're gonna just do the animation for Killer just absolutely chopping his arm. I hope they do something over the top thing, not just do like just a sudden reveal of his arm coming off. Like, I want to see it get sliced off. So Hawkins tries to resist, obviously. He summons out the Straw Hat and Killer just obliterates it. And he tries to pull a card to try to get in his favor, but it's the tower. And he said while he pulled it, show me the results of this battle. And the tower symbolizes great change, an upheaval of the established order, the opening of a new path. And the chapter ends with Hawkins' defeat. Do I think Hawkins is dead? That's actually a hard one. I'm actually not too sure. I think so, because like, why would Killer intentionally leave Hawkins alive? And if he didn't intentionally leave Hawkins alive, then why would he be so like sloppy to like leave him alive? But then this is One Piece we're talking about, so it's very likely that he is alive. But if he does turn out to not be dead, then he will most likely join the Straw Hat side. So I guess I'm excited for that. I also don't really like Hawkins that much, but Kid's fine now, except he's still very beat up. But the opening of a new path, which in my opinion, there's no way the raid is failing. Like, the raid is going to succeed. Everything has been pointing to this, and it's just gonna happen, right? And I feel like this chapter has only furthered that. And even though we didn't see any Luffy or Zoro or whoever, I still really like this chapter, and I think it's one of my favorites of the raid. This, also the Nico Robin one, the Nico Robin versus Black Maria, I think those two have been some of my favorites. Also probably one of the Luffy versus, like some of the Roof Piece chapters. I think chapter 1000 was great. Some of the Scabbard Wano has been overall great so far. And even though I have been kind of late to the party, you know, I caught up very recently, but I'm still, this is a great arc to be caught up on. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next. There's no break next week, which is great. And I was surprised to see that the Sanji plot point leading into here. Maybe we'll see Zoro again next chapter, find out who King is. I don't know. Maybe I should do some predictions. I predict that next chapter is going to be about, you know what, I'm gonna say it. I'll say the next chapter is about Raizo versus Fukurojo. It's not gonna be obviously gonna be about them. I think it's gonna be featured there. And let's see each chapter if my predictions hold up. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.